Hey everybody, welcome back to our Walking Dead reviews. This time we are on Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 2, Another Day in the Diamond. This is Chris, and as usual with Jason.
I'm just here to scrounge supplies.
They just, I mean, not that I've got much of a ball rolling 10 seconds in, but you really just put it to a halt. There it is. Yeah. Okay. So we're going. We're starting in Fear now. It was a good episode last week, but I would say definitely out of the norm, even for Fear. We really didn't learn anything about we didn't learn much about what was going on with the usual crew for the show. That was everything this week, though.
Yeah.
So overall, your feelings of this week's episode?
I liked it a lot. It really reminded me of Season 3 of Fear.
Yeah. No, we didn't get a chance to talk about that much, and we had 2 shows to do last week. Thank you very much, AMC, for that. Which, by the way, I do appreciate all the views and the comments that we've gotten in the last week. All the new people that have been watching and listening, thank you very much for that. Normally, we're not halfway awake drunk like we were last week, or at least I was. I don't know. Maybe Jason always is. He's kind of always the same. But thank you very much. We appreciate that. I hope you keep on tuning in every week. I forget where I started that from.
I'm just very fuel efficient, Chris. You know,
you're very fuel efficient. You're much younger than I am. Normally, that makes a difference too. We're getting going here a little too late because I had to take my late night nap. I overslept.
Chris can't be awake too late, otherwise he'll sleep through the opening of Country Town Buffet.
Oh, I don't even eat there. I do have to comment on something not Walking Dead related, just because we didn't do our regular weekly show. Ian and I usually do a weekly show called The Jagged Edge. You should check it out. We talk about what's happened in the news in the last week for games, movies, TV shows, and such. I haven't had a chance to comment on it. It is Infinity War week, and I am so fucking excited for the Infinity War week. I've been waiting. It's been the number one topic on our weekly show. Are you going to go see it this week, Jason?
Opening week? Maybe. It all depends on whether I can drag my fiance away from her Sims game.
Why? You see, that comes out of your mouth, and what I think is that's a poor plan. The proper plan is to let her continue playing The Sims while you go watch Infinity War. That is the plan.
See, there you go. You've already got a better idea than me.
Of course, looking forward to this one. It's obviously huge if you're into it. Kind of related. We're talking about a comic book TV show. We're talking about a comic book movie.
I did have to go and I just downloaded Thor Ragnarok because I've heard I have to watch.
And by
that
downloaded, people, he means that he paid for that properly and then downloaded it. He's that's what he means, of course.
Yeah, on iTunes.
Okay. Oh, maybe. Oh, did you actually mean that?
Yeah, 100%.
So every once in a while we talk about other ways to get movies. So, allegedly. Of course, I wouldn't blame anyone for allegedly using alternative methods to getting something like Justice League or something like that. But
I paid full price for Justice League, and I'm not sure I wanted to do that.
Oh, it's such a shame. That could have been something.
It's just too bad because I love DC Comics. I'm the biggest Batman nerd you'll ever find.
Well, then you're probably going to have to find your butt on our other show sometime. Because so far, people who have been listening, the handful that have been listening to everything we do, know that you can only find Jason here.
That's true. Well, I'm a zombie survivalist guy, I'm all about the zombies.
He is. He actually lives in that world. That's how, he actually thinks that the zombie apocalypse is happening now.
Oh, it's happening.
This is news. The weekly recaps, this is the news for him, and we're just recapping the news that he's got going on.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, we're way off the rails. Okay, overall feelings of this week's episode, Another Day in the Diamond.
I liked it a lot. Like I said, it reminded me of season 3, and in all the good ways.
Yeah, it's a good episode. Here's the thing: the things that happen in this episode actually they bother me in the way that they should. It's using an old wrestling term. It generates real heel heat, and like by the end of it, I'm kind of pissed because you see that basically what they've put together and what they've done with these. What the group has done for themselves has to some degree and in some way completely fallen apart.
Yeah.
And I'm not happy about that at all.
Oh, and do I have a conspiracy theory for you at the end of the video?
Well, and there's this episode definitely garners some conspiracy theories as well. Overall, though, it was good. I was glad to see that this week we went to the usual crew and we got to see at least some of what they've been up to. There's a couple hints here on things that have happened. I think the biggest and one of the most appropriate is that right away they tell you that they've been in this diamond for a year.
Yeah, talk about a time jump.
Yeah, well, but that doesn't get us caught up all the way. In fact, there's still a good bit of time that has passed. But then again, it doesn't actually necessarily say how much time had passed from the end of season 3 until they actually got into that baseball stadium. So,
I was taking it to be like a year since the dam explosion and whatever fallout happened from that.
No, yeah, it doesn't define it.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. They could have been wandering around for how much time before they made it to the diamond and then lived there for a year.
Right. And something that you had said last week that I don't give much thought to, but I did this week was you said we don't actually see Daniel die, and I watched the end of season 3 again here in the last week. Awesome episode. As most of season 3 was, and you don't, and that actually matters in The Walking Dead. Normally, regular cast members, you always see them die, or someone else in the show almost always sees them die.
Yeah,
and we didn't see either, which really leads me to think that we will see Daniel again. But at this point,
I'm pulling for him.
That's your buddy.
That's my friend.
I can tell last week.
I think Daniel embodies the level of crazy that any sane person would have when confronted with a zombie apocalypse. Like the people in Walking Dead, well, they're written very well. I don't think we see as much crazy as there would actually be if dead people came back to life and started eating us for food.
Well, I don't know about that, man. I mean, Daniel, he used to torture and kill people. He was an assassin.
Well, yeah.
He was an assassin. So.
Yeah, but you would assume that somebody who's seen so much crap already would be even more adjusted than for stuff like this,
Well, I definitely appreciated that perspective of the character. I think he was a great character. But at this point, it would almost be ridiculous to see him again. What kind of shape is he going to be in now? What's wrong with him now? He got shot in the face. That you can't go to the doctors for that.
Nope.
What's like it? What's going on there? Is he going to have nasty scars? But yeah, I think we will see him again. Okay,
I'm hoping for it.
We keep getting off this episode though, and that's my fault. There's a lot.
No worries.
About. But yeah,
I am king of the tangent.
But they've spent most of their time here in this diamond. I would have to think. Now, was it just me, or was it not clear at all? Like, when we saw the normal cast at the end of last week's episode, I mean, I kind of got the impression, which, by the way, ambush, the word I couldn't think of last week that I tried to, come up with 10 times last week, ambush.
Ambush.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, you dumbass. But,
as opposed to Jeb Bush.
Yep, those are words out of Jason's mouth, people. That's there it is.
There you go. There's my baseline humor puns.
No, it's good though. It's good. Yeah. So, but I mean, to me, it seemed like it was more like a whole scenario they had set up, and it was. I mean, there was nothing really wrong with Alicia. But this, I mean, typically in the Fear show, the group walks more of a gray line than the good or bad that we usually see from the typical show. So for them to set up an ambush actually did not throw me off. But I didn't think that it was actually. I didn't think that they were actually out there because something had happened. I thought that was kind of a day in the life of what they do. But
I think that you're not wrong in that line of thinking. But also, given I think that the death of Travis in season 3 may have really brought Madison around a little bit more to think a little bit more,
compensate and be more of a moral compass. No, I agree.
And with them living in the baseball stadium, with their safety and their access to food, I think that definitely gives them more opportunity to act in a humanitarian way. Whereas if they had been living outside, scrounging for supplies, finding food where they can, like scavengers, then they definitely would act more ambushy and savage.
Ambushy.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, in fact, something has happened, and they're not clear about it yet. You see enough of it right at the very end of this week's episode to know that something has in fact happened with this new group that they're now involved with. I know the Vultures.
Dude, Nick has become Dom from Gears of War. If you get that reference at all.
Not at all.
Okay, so are you aware of the Gears of War games?
Yes, I know of them.
All right, so there's a character in there. His name is Dom. He loses his wife. Anyway, at the beginning of the third game, we find out that he's like given up his guns and he's out farming radishes.
Oh well, and that's interesting. We'll get to the changes in the cast here in a minute, to which there are a few. Sorry. But yeah. So I mean, what do you think of the Vultures? What do you think about what's happened here? Do you think that it appears as though the Vultures actually did wait them out? The scenario's been set in this episode where they're going to have to they're stuck in the diamond, and the Vultures, it would appear, have waited them out to the point where they could finally take over, or maybe there was some kind of altercation. We really don't know.
No.
What do you think's happened, and what do you think of the Vultures?
I think that the Vultures are responsible for the vegetables going bad. What I think is that part of what that little gal did, what was her name, Charlie?
Sure, we'll go with Charlie. I don't really know.
Yeah, I think it was Charlie. Anyway, her and maybe the Vultures have some other people in there that they haven't directly called out yet.
So you think there's more of them?
Yeah, I think that that's how they operate. They send people in to sabotage them from the inside. They made it a whole year farming food, and now, all of a sudden, when the Vultures show up, the food starts to dwindle, and it starts to having all these problems. I don't think that's coincidental.
So you think maybe that other character they met in this episode, the one that they found at
Naomi?
Yeah. You think that she's a Vulture as well?
I don't know. I haven't made up my mind about her yet. She did pull a gun on the group when they first saw her, instead of trying to sweet charm them, which I think puts some points in her favor, because not very often do you see that kind of long game.
Right.
In The Walking Dead.
It doesn't really scream "take me in" when you point a gun in someone's face.
Yeah. So I think she's.
I try that once a week. It doesn't work normally. You got to be a little scared for the person who does take that as, oh, you want to hang out.
Words out of your mouth, man.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, gee, I didn't give that much thought. I don't think so. I think that's it. I think it's just the girl. I guess we'll see. Because they do seem really smart. Overall, though, what do you think of this tactic? This is an interesting tactic of either they help set up the scenario, or they find a scenario where the group that they're encountering needs their help, either gets consumed by the group, or the Vultures wait until the group is down to they're out of bullets, or they're out of food, or whatever, and then they come in and they take over, very much like a Vulture. What do you think of that? That's an interesting one.
I think, like you said, they're very smart. They act exactly like that namesake. The Vultures. It's an interesting tactic, especially coming straight off the main show with this big Total War thing where everybody's just duking it out, fists out. It's nice to see the change that, like, there, you see what I imagine you would see in the real world. You see people with different tactics on how to get what they want.
Well, and it definitely seems like one of the things that the Vultures does is they use the walkers
as a weapon.
As a weapon. Now, we haven't seen too much relation to this yet. We've seen a couple flags. What did we see? We've seen a 51.
274, I think.
I thought it was 174. Maybe it was a 274.
Oh.
And then we saw a 12. And the only thing that we were able to see with the 12 was I believe there was a dozen walkers that they put into that they put in the back of that truck.
Yup.
So I think
that's how they mark how many walkers are in an area.
Well, or at least how many were in an area, because I mean they might be doing something with that. It's very interesting. I overall am really liking this. It's a good spin on something new here after The Walking Dead being around for 8 years. It's kind of cool to see another take on how people get by. One thing I did notice, and I don't know if this was intentional, if this was just bad on their props.
Are you talking about the friction between Strand and Cole?
No.
Oh.
I'm not talking about that at all. With Mr. Guy with his conspiracy theories. We'll get to that. Still on the Vultures, though, I noticed that most of their cars were really clean.
I did not notice that at all. That totally went over my head.
I mean, and I say that sticks out. Like the bus wasn't. The bus and the moving truck weren't, but the regular conventional transports seemed, and maybe I didn't see it right, but they all seemed really clean, especially the muscle car.
Maybe.
Maybe that's something to note. Maybe not. Maybe crops messed up, or maybe there's a reason for that.
Or maybe the vehicles, that they had weren't working, so they had to take like staff vehicles or something.
We got the company car is broke down. We gotta take our own car to take over another community. All right. One thing I did notice though, I thought they were, if it is in fact the Vultures that are taking everything, and we saw it in the town where they said everything's gone, even the light bulbs. If that is in fact the Vultures who are doing that, they seem a little light. At least if these are all their vehicles, they seem a little light on their load. Yeah,
but you also have to account that these, like you said, these Vultures go around. And like real Vultures, I imagine they probably have a very large area. So, it's the apocalypse. It's not like you can take it to a mechanic shop and repair it. You have to cannibalize other cars in the area.
So do you
fix whatever breaks down? So I don't think that's actually super unrealistic, because cars have a lot of problems as is, and especially if you're running them off road with crappy maintenance and you're keeping tubes held together with duct tape or something. It's not super surprising to see that they got a limited amount.
Yeah, no, we know very little at this point. One other thing I want to talk about with the Vultures before we move on. Do you think they want the baseball diamond, or you think they just want their stuff?
I think they just want their stuff. I don't think they want the diamond for any particular reason, because the diamond's just another place to them.
Yeah, but
it's what's inside the diamond. It's the people. It's the ability to grow their own crops.
Right.
Yeah, or more importantly, it's the crops that people have already grown.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. I like it.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping that the Vultures will beat a good original villain for The Walking Dead. Like we've had some great villains brought straight out from the comic books, but I'm hoping we'll start to see some original characters really pulling their own weight.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we did not, for example, Proctor John, was it from last season? We didn't actually see enough of him throughout the season to really make him as a standout villain until the very end.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any, any kind of really special gimmick with him either, which was fine. But yeah, this looks like this could be the standout group for Fear so far.
Yeah, and the main guy, Mel, I think he's got some potential. The speech that they gave about the, either we can wait you out or you can come with us now.
No, you're right. He does, but he also came off very much like the guys from what was it, Extremis from Walking Dead.
Oh no,
Not Extremis.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. The trained people, the trained cannibals.
Yep. Man, Terminus.
Terminus. Thank you. It felt very much like that. With Mel, and I could definitely see that going, hey, this guy's either going to be awesome, or it's like, oh, this guy's very cliche.
Hey, Terminus had some good moments.
No, yeah, Terminus was fine. And by the way, Terminus completely show made. None of that existed in the comics except for the cannibal angle.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I was gonna say, because you and I watched Terminus together, and you were super happy about the tainted meat thing. Like, you were geeking out the whole time.
Wait, what can I say, Bob? I heard Bob tasted awesome.
Oh God.
No. Well, and the main reason I freaked out about that is because it's one of the handful of times where they bring up a legitimate question for how zombies work. It's like, okay, so we're all infected, but dude's eating another guy, but we're all infected. So what kind of effect is that going to have? And it brings up a legitimate question: if you cook that, will that really solve the problem? We don't get to find out because Rick and the gang kill them all, but we don't get to see the long-term effects of that. So yeah, that's why that was really interesting. The other thing about that, like I said, the cannibal angle is real from the comic, but the Terminus group was not. There was a different group of people that they come across. So yeah, that's why I was freaking out about that, because it brings up a legitimate question. Plus, it's like holy crap. Like I think I'd mentioned when we talked about this before, in the comic, that's Dale. And Dale's already lost a leg, and they're like, well, we're gonna just cut off the other one. And it's kind of funny because Walker bit the one leg, and now people are biting the other.
Yeah.
Poor Dale gets his ass beat in the comic until he finally dies. It's kind of funny. Anyways, yeah. So we'll see. I'm excited for this. Okay, all right. So let's talk about one of the things you brought up, Nick. Definitely some changes in some of the characters here, and I think Nick being the biggest. I mean, Saturday Night Fun used to be, let's throw on some Walker blood and go hang out in the town with the Walkers. Dude won't leave the diamond now.
No, but how much of that is due to the Walkers, and how much of that is due to everything else that he's had to go through?
Well, and we don't know, but I think I just think that's a very interesting parallel to what we were used to. I mean, Nick, for good or for bad, was probably one of the ballsiest characters on either show, and now won't leave home base.
Well, and we know that he somehow gets over that, because at the end, he's one of the ambushers.
Whether he likes it or not.
Yeah.
For sure.
But, like, we see that he crashes his car. He doesn't even make it, like, what, a couple of miles before...
A couple miles, dude. He didn't make it, like, a couple hundred feet.
Yeah, he just, he has an episode and just chunks his car.
Right. But the little we've seen of him post whatever the hell's happened here at the Diamond, he seems okay.
Yeah, until he tries to leave.
No, I mean, even after that, what little we've seen of him with the ambush, and then at the very end of this episode, he seems okay. He doesn't seem to be freaking out. Yeah.
Yeah, which is weird for someone who has such obvious PTSD symptoms to suddenly be all right.
And Madison says to Luciana, you didn't see him when I found him and what condition he was in. I mean, that's got to be some serious shit to rattle Nick.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there. So it looks like they are definitely going to be, at least to some extent, they're going to be using what I'd said could be a tool for this show at this point. Some rewinds, some going, jumping in time, forward and back, to tell the story. Not a huge fan of how they've done it at this point, though. They can do a good job of this, but I don't know. I like it when it's used as a more a better tool at telling a story rather than telling a period of time. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the show's done this a couple times in the past. And they've done it to varying degrees of success. And then by that I'm talking about The Walking Dead proper, the main show, where they will jump back in time and they'll do what they did with this one, and they'll just say, hey, let's hang out. We're just going to hang out in this part of time for a while and just see how it fits and check out the neighborhood. And then, like, at the end of the show, then they'll jump back to current time, or vice versa. I like it to be used as something a bit more pinpointed. Or if you're trying to tell a narrative, if you're trying to tell a story, let's do that. Now, that being said, in this episode, I think it worked fine because, I enjoyed everything that they showed us in the past.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy to talk about because that's still at least a year into the future from where we left these people. It's getting confusing, man.
Yeah.
And it's not even legitimate time travel.
Nope. Just a really confusing timeline.
Yeah, it's getting weird. You're making it too weird.
You've obviously never tried to reconstruct a Nintendo timeline.
Oh, don't even start, man. Don't even start. I was an avid follower of Lost. I can reconstruct a lot of shit that shouldn't be constructed. I am perfectly adequate for time travel and storylines and connecting things. So yeah, don't even go there.
I am not surprised you were a Lost fan.
Dude, it was a great show. It's a great show. Love the ending.
Now, here's my question. Whatever happened to the polar bears?
The polar bears were a manifestation. They were
Where
they were never real. Polar bears were a manifestation of the boy. I can't remember his name anymore. You had the two people who had crashed there, the father and the son.
Oh yeah, they were.
The son had special powers.
Yep.
That's one of the reasons they were drawn there. May have been the main reason they were drawn there. Wasn't the only one.
Yeah, I really liked Lost, and then I got really confused at the end.
It got very confusing, and there were storylines that they didn't follow, and they did do things to throw you off, and it was a shame that it doesn't fit in a neat idea of concepts and ideas with that had setup and then payoff. It didn't. There were things that led nowhere. Some of that was out of bad decisions. Some of that was out of casting issues.
Yeah.
But the end result is don't comment on my conspiracy theory game and my inability, or your feelings of inability of being able to put together a storyline. You are wrong.
I would never doubt your conspiracy theory abilities, Chris.
That being said, I know the conspiracy theory ability is probably nowhere near yours.
Maybe not.
But let's continue talking about the cast here. Strand, he's got himself a nice little pet rock.
That's true.
Clearly something from the bridge.
Yeah.
And I saw something about this on, again, what little I ever catch of Talking Dead. They were talking about this. It is in fact something from the bridge. He does keep it as a reminder of don't be this much of a shit fuck anymore.
Yeah.
And so he keeps it around to remind himself not to be that jackass. I love it. I think it's a very important growing part of Strand, trying to be a better person. And because really, he really fucked everything up in season 3, didn't he? Yeah,
without a doubt. But I think that's part of who Strand's personality is.
Right? Yeah. No, his manipulation game, not the best in the zombie apocalypse.
Nope.
With such consequences for choices and lies, and then yeah.
Well, and I think he's learning that, especially, and it's interesting to see how because he was a con man, so it's been fun to watch, sort of how those skills have come in handy and how those skills have really backfired, time and time again. But it brings an interesting aspect to things.
Agreed.
I think Strand and the Vultures will have some pretty interesting mental games because both of them seem like they're very competent at that sort of a thing.
I think there's definitely the opportunity for that. At the same time, this is one of the things I like about Fear is that Fear delving down this path of growth and change from the zombie apocalypse. They do a really good job with that with this series and these characters. Like, for example, at the beginning of this episode, we see Madison using her counselor abilities.
Yeah, we do. With the little girl.
Right. That's not just silly. Some of what I saw about some people's comments and reviews about this week, some people were like, "What's this crap with Madison at the beginning of the episode?" Like, you don't understand what she's trying to do there. Obviously she doesn't figure out that it's a spy, but she's trying to make get this new person to feel welcome, try to give some information. Clearly it doesn't work to the best, but it's probably something she's done for every new person that joins.
Yep. Well, and we find out that the new woman, Naomi, she used to be a nurse. We find that out when she's patching up Nick.
Yep.
So now they have sort of a dedicated medic, if you want to use that term.
Doomed from the start.
Doomed from the start?
Yeah. Now, how many doctors from the main show have they introduced in the past that are still around?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Doomed from the start. All the doctors die.
It's too much of a crutch. You have any sort of medical professional there, and you're like, oh, they could actually fix this problem.
You know who's around now? Sadiq. How long has he been around? 8 episodes. Well, they introduced him a little bit before that, but really 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That chick was dead the moment we saw her.
Well, it all depends, I think, how they spin her story, And
it'll be a gruesome one, too. I can't remember. I've seen her in a couple things before. She used to have a fairly successful sitcom back in the late 90s and early 2000s. I can't remember what it is. But, she will have a particularly gruesome death. Guaranteed.
All right. You heard it here first, folks.
Well, and again, I mean, fear has no roots in the comics, so I'm not pulling that out of the comics or anything like that. Yes, guaranteed that new character, that nurse, dead man walking.
Well, you could probably say that of most of the people
in
The Walking Dead.
Didn't think I was ever going to say that about Travis.
That's true. Then I think that was one of the things I liked most about Fear was because there's no ties to the comics.
Yeah.
I think the writers probably feel a little more free to blow away main characters.
That being said, but it is still written by Robert Kirkman, who created The Walking Dead and writes the comics. So you still get that, official kind of George Lucas feel, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that Kirkman brand approval.
Still comes from the source. The funny thing, going on Travis real quick because we haven't had a chance to talk about that, I should have seen it coming. As soon as after I got over the fact because he was my favorite character in Fear, after the first 30 seconds of what the fuck just happened, and then watching him fall out of the helicopter, I got to thinking about it when the first break came around. I'm like, you know what? I should have seen that coming because in the last episode, Travis finally makes peace with the world he's in. And when in typical Walking Dead fashion, when a person's story is finished, that's typically when they die.
You know why that is?
Why?
Because The Walking Dead is purgatory, and all of them are actually souls destined.
No, we're done talking about Lost. No, you're right though. That is a regular theory going on about the show. Yeah, so as soon I thought I'm like, God damn it, I should have seen it. I was so happy that Travis was finally making peace with this world, and it's like, holy shit, he's a badass. He's like taking out walkers with sticks and rocks, and I'm like, holy fuck, look at him go. Everyone's watching him like, holy shit, and then he's dead.
Yep.
But yeah, he's like, all right, he was the perfect warrior for this world at that point, and then it was like, all right, well, okay, see ya. Should have seen that coming. All right. Anyways, because we are running long on this, but we're having fun with it. All right, so let's go off your notes. Let's see what we haven't gotten to yet that you want to talk about from the show. What do you got?
Let's see. I think we've covered pretty much everything, other than Strand's new love interest. That didn't take long.
Is there really a love interest though?
I think there is.
All right. Okay, fair enough. I don't know. It kind of seems like he doesn't want to be bothered with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we will see that relationship develop. I'm calling it by the end of this season. They're hooking up.
That was Cole, right? That you're talking about?
Yep.
I don't think so. I think he's dead.
Oh, you think he's dead?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. If he lives, they're hooking up.
All right. Nope, I think he's dead. I think everybody's dead. I think Madison's dead. No, I don't think Madison's dead.
What do you think we're gonna explore more of the little girl's story? Like she's with.
Here's the thing, because they really don't give you much information at all. But the fact that Madison is not present does say something. And I think the Vultures have Madison. I don't think the scenario went down either way that they build it up. I don't think there was a really big fight. I don't think the Vultures waited until they just couldn't take it anymore and they were able to come in and take over. I think something in between happened which allowed them to take Madison captive.
Yeah, which would explain why at the end of the episode, they're asking Morgan and the gang to take them to where they found the flag.
They should just rename the show Morgan and the Gang.
Dude, would that not be the best name ever?
What? They need to get T-shirts.
Morgan and Friends. Morgan and the Gang.
Morgan and the Gang. And on the, you get a little logo of like a silhouette of a guy with a stick on the front,
yep.
And then on the back it says it's time to clear, or it says you know what it is.
Yeah. Oh. We could merchandise that.
I hope the show doesn't turn into that either. I have genuine concerns. Like I've spoken to a couple people who watch the main show but don't watch Fear, and they're like, "Well, I'm watching Fear now because Morgan's over there." It's like, oh god, that might be a prophecy that I don't want to see come to fruition.
Yeah. Well, I hope that won't end up being what it is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty attached to the Fear crew as they are, and yep. I think Morgan will make a wonderful addition. But I hope he's not. I hope he doesn't become the focus.
Agreed. That being said, I hope Morgan makes it to the very end of both episodes, or both TV shows.
Yes, you calling it Morgan declare? You know what I was hoping for? When The Walking Dead finally wraps up its series finale.
What?
Is that we'll just have Morgan and Rick like sitting somewhere, pouring out like a shot or something, sipping on a bottle.
Drinking some whiskey, smoking some cigars?
Yeah, something like that, like looking over, new civilization or like the end of the world, just sort of...
Putting their cigars out on Negan's skull?
Yeah, chilling out, being bros. Just to bring some sort of like ultimate circlehood. It started with Morgan and Rick and it'll end with Morgan and Rick.
So, well, this is kind of like Clue. Do you know the movie Clue that came out in the 80s?
Based on the board game?
Yeah,
I am aware of it.
With its alternate endings and stuff. That's how it could have ended, but here's how it really went. The show's going to end with Morgan on the very last episode of Fear the Walking Dead. Walking Dead's been off for a couple years. Morgan is surrounded by the bodies of the people he knew, and he's just like, I was right. Everybody's dead, and he's just like, I was right. Everybody dies, either by bullets or by teeth, and that's how it ends. And he's crazier than ever.
Yep.
And then I don't think this is really how it's going to go. But then we get a 15-minute montage of Morgan traveling the world, clearing everything.
Yeah, Morgan goes on a one-man crusade to kill every zombie in existence.
Well, not just zombie. When he's in clear mode, he kills people, too.
All right, there you go. Fine.
And it's just Morgan at the end with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
With a staff made of gold. Crazy as shit.
Last man on Earth.
Yeah. And he's got a dog, and the dog's missing an eye and a leg. His dog named Clear.
That sounds a lot like the alternate ending for I Am Legend.
Great movie, by the way. We have been completely off the rails this week, but I think it's been fun.
Yeah, we're having a good time.
So okay, let's rate this. So 1 out of 5 lying little bitches. I'll give it a 3. No, 3.5.
I'll give it a 4.
Yeah. All right, 4 lying little bitches for you, 3.5 lying little bitches for me. So, do you think she's going to become a regular part of the cast?
I do.
You do? Okay.
I do. I think, like if things in the Vultures do end up like totally falling apart, I think she's most likely to end up with our main group of characters, because we don't really have sort of a Carl for the series yet.
No.
You know.
Yeah, but that's been a good thing. And actually, I would say that Nick's kind of been the Carl of the series.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, like, there's no oomph as far as like pediatric related stuff goes.
With 14 episodes to go for the season, and we really have no idea what route they'll take with any of this stuff. Let's swing for the seats right now. Main character death. Who's it going to be? You can pick one.
I can pick one?
Yeah. I'm not going to make you pick multiple or give some kind of crazy scenario, but if we're going to lose a main character this season, who do you think it's going to be?
It's either going to be one or two. It's either going to be Alicia or Lucina.
I think is it Lucina or Luciana? I think it's Luciana.
Oh.
That's all right. You're still learning.
Yep. Well, and I'm terrible with names.
So you think one of the ladies is going?
Yep, I do.
Okay. Which, by the way, you can count the new cast. You can count Morgan, Athena, and John. And what's Naomi? I don't think Naomi's going to be a regular part of the cast. I think she's only going to make it a few episodes. So. I
think if anything, she'll probably make it to the end of this season. Maybe, probably die off next season. I think she's here for this season.
Okay. My guess. Let's see. My guess, who's dying this season? Main cast member dying this season. I'm gonna guess two. You didn't have to guess two. You can guess only one if you want. Again, we're grabbing out of nowhere. So, as quickly as we've seen them, and I like them, I think Athena's gonna be killed off before the season's over. And since that is a new person, I will pick someone from the core cast, Nick.
You think Nick's gonna bite it?
Nick's dying.
I hope not. He's probably one of my other favorite characters.
Nick, no, I love Nick. But Nick is, besides the PTSD that he's currently dealing with, or whatever's going on with that, Nick, at least right now, seems to be showing no signs of problems with his addictive personality.
Now that is something you brought up that sort of makes me wonder. Do you think we're gonna see Nick relapse, and that's why he's so calm?
I don't know. No, I don't. I don't think so. I think it's not an issue anymore. And Nick, like I said before with Travis, when the people of the show, when their story is done, they get killed. And I think that's what we're seeing here. I think Nick is going to be killed. I don't like it, but I think that's what's going to happen.
I hope not.
No more Nick.
Alrighty, so there you have it, folks.
There it is.
And if any of that happens, we'll review it for you.
We will for sure. But yeah, so I thought it would be interesting though to put some bets on it early on, and let's see what happens throughout the rest of the season. God knows I never would have picked Carl last season for Walking Dead. So but you can pretty much assume someone's going to die.
Oh yeah,
somebody's going. So you have picked Luciana or Alicia. I have picked Athena or Nick. And I guess I picked Naomi too, but I don't really think that's a fair choice. I think she'll be dead before this season, before the mid-season. So, right in the face, dude. She's gonna get it right in the face.
Nah, I think she's gonna survive the first season, and she'll take it next season.
She's gonna lose an eyeball.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll see if I'm right. That'd be crazy if I was. Okay, that's gonna do it. We went really long here, 44 minutes. Pre-edit, but all right. Any final words?
Yeah. Don't eat rotten tomatoes, folks.
Yeah, watch out for the weevils.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for us for this week. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think of the episode, or any of the ridiculous comments I had said, or Jason's crazy conspiracy theories. Comment below or email. Please remember to like and subscribe. And with that, we will be back next week for episode 3.
Hey people, thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, there anything we go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but if great if you could throw some support. You can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksongmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Yeah, who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, dig up, and maybe not find. Maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you again later. Take care.